Oh hi, I didn't see you there. Welcome back. I've been meaning to show you this for a while now, but finding the time to edit this was elusive. That and I shouldn't have tried the popular CNC lights out machining trend in a manual shop. I'm still cleaning up from that. Here's a project that once you complete, you'll wonder how you lived without it. A tailstock die holder. This particular one is a tailstock tap and die holder. I'll show you that in a minute. It takes about half a day from start to finish, and cost-wise doesn't require you to dip into your Black Ops fund. Once you have one, you'll no longer have to jam your traditional die holder between your part and your tailstock. And I've done that quite a few times. Speaking of Black Ops, this knurl turned out, well for me. Form knurling in the home shop is a black art. It takes some practice, but I'll let you in on my secret. To guarantee a good one, you need to be working on a scrap part. Otherwise, you're in Pareto paradise, where you'll get a good knurl 80% of the time on your first try. Sharp and appropriately pitched knurl wheels are important, but often a luxury us home shoppers live without. So usually budget some extra stock to do the knurl a couple of times if needed. If you're wondering why I just don't buy a selection of knurl wheels, well, more on that in just a bit. I've bored out one side of this to hold 1-inch dies and drilled and tapped for appropriate set screws. I think I'm going to change them to cap screws per Robin Renzetti, as it reduces the chances of stripping the internal hex. Some like to hold larger dies, but I've found that once you get into the larger threads, I'm usually single pointing them anyway because, well, I'm half Dutch. If you're asking what that has to do with anything, either 1, you don't know the price of larger dies, and or 2, haven't discovered how copper wire is made. Now if at this point you're still confused, I've seemed to run out of patience anyway. Now on the other side, opposite to the die holding side, I've bored it out to hold an ER collet. I just cut the shank off. This was a straight shank ER collet holder. And I've put in a couple set screws to hold it on the flats. And this is what I used to hold taps. It works quite well. Originally it was going to be machined one piece, but this approach is quicker and allows for a full hard ER collet chuck to be used. I use standard ER collets in here. Just some food for thought. You can actually get ER tapping collets that have the square in them that engages on the square of the tap. But I've found in the home shop, usually I don't bother with that. So that's my sliding tap and die holder. A modified ER collet chuck to hold taps. So let's see how I made it. I modeled the entire project in Autodesk Fusion. 3 cheers for CAD that is accessible for home shop users. I'll post drawings on my blog if you want to make one yourself, or you want to start off with this design. Okay, enough with being a CAD jockey, let's go cut some steel. I don't mind desk work, but our ideas live and breathe in the real world. First up was the arbor. It was made from a piece of 4140 heat treat. I won't go into details how I set up cutting the taper. In this case I cut a 2-degree taper for the Schablin tailstock, but there are plenty of good videos on YouTube. I like Joe Piezinski's channel myself. I set it up between centers for the finish pass to ensure concentricity. My 3-jaw chuck is out about 3 thou, which is fairly common for them. Next up was the body, the piece with the most work. I made it out of a leftover piece from the tool post build for the Schablin, a nice piece of 4140 heat treat. I'm impressed with how easily this material works in the home shop on smaller equipment. It is really enjoyable to work with. Machining work is straightforward, turning and boring. I single pointed the internal bore. Now it is much easier to use a ream, but remember what I said in the introduction about where I'm from? I do a significant amount of single point boring in the home shop to avoid buying reams. If I was making a bunch of them, sure, I'd spring for one. But for onesie twosies work, I try to avoid them unless I absolutely need them. It's hot. I cut down an inexpensive ER collet chuck using a zip disc and cleaned it up with some carbide in the lathe. This is for the tap holder. Finally, I made the handle. This is to add some leverage when you're cutting threads that are larger. It was made from some scrap binium, probably some free cutting steel or something similar, as it cut easily. And there you have it, another floating die holder for the tailstock. See you next time.